I still can't see it on my end. I don't know if that's just my...
Up at the top there under View Options, you
Oh,
may need to
gotcha.
choose Noemie Giguere.
Looks like it just took a moment to load.
Okay,
Thanks.
perfect. Go
Ta-da.
ahead.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. So I'm pretty happy and a little bit stressed to talk with you this afternoon because I have to confess that after maybe 6 months of being alone in my house, I'm not very used to speaking English myself. So I'm pretty happy to talk with all of you this afternoon. And yes, the theme of this workshop is Marine Biotech, what can Canada accomplish in the next 10 years and how can we get there? Yeah, the NRC asked me to present my vision of what can be the next 10 years, but I think to do that, we as whole sector have to know where we are now and what are the challenges to reach that vision. And it is a pretty short teaser. It's not a great vision, a big vision. It's my vision is only to work together. So Marie-Chantal maybe scoop me a little bit with that. But if you have to keep it in mind, it's that what I suggest and what I hope is to work as a whole sector, the whole value chain to maybe break the challenges and go further. So now I go with that. So maybe I can just take few minutes, little minutes to present myself and my organization. So I am Noemie Giguere. I'm the Executive Director of Technopole Maritime du Québec, which is a non-profit organization. We are a network composed of 61 members, and we work to bring together and mobilize players in Quebec innovative maritime sectors. So those sectors are for sure marine biotechnologies, but also ocean tech and marine transportation. So now you have to know that I'm not a specialist in marine biotech, but I'm a generalist. And to do this presentation, I have to thank the Marine Biotech Research Centers to provide me some information on the sectors and the market that I can show you today. Also, just if you maybe at the NRC will, I hope, provide you the presentation. There is our axis of intervention. So we are working in promotion of the sectors, but also to facilitate the liaison and cooperation between research and industry. So that's, I think, what we want to do today with you in this workshop. And we also work at sectoral development, so B2B, networking, and also sector intelligence and sharing information to businesses and also other institutions in our networks. And also outside with the whole international and national level sectors. So also, everybody, I think, in the room also knew what is biotech, and we also know what are marine biotechnology. So it's using resources from marine origin to do some biotechnology. So that's not new for you. Sorry, I have to reduce that to see my. So to talk about marine biotech, there is a slide to first of all present the global biotech market, so the whole biotech market. So after that, we will just dig a little bit more in marine biotech sector. So worldwide, it's health and well-being segment that is bigger, and as you know, as you see in in the graph, it's 43% of the market. So after that, you see it's followed by agri-food and also bioinformatics. So that's some statistics. And sorry, so it's a mix of French and English slides. So you see in the gray box, it's a free translation of what is written in the graph. So you see the market size in billions. So it's more than 400 billion for the whole biotech market. And expected market in 2025, it's more than 700 billion. And the compound annual growth rate is 7.4%. So that's a growing, a major market and a growing market. So that's what we have to retain from that graph. If we want to see more by segment, there just below the graph you have French and English explanation for the graph. So health and well-being will remain the biggest segment until 2025. It's really the biggest segment, but you also see that agri-food and natural resources and environment, and also industrial bioprocesses are in good position with around 7.4 and 7.1% of augmentation. Yeah. So, as I said, I'm more a generalist than than a specialist, and it's a lot of statistics. But I think it's interesting to keep those numbers in mind. And now, if we switch to the global marine biotechnology market, so specifically for the marine biotech, in the middle of the graph, you see in blue the French information, but also in the gray box on the both sides you see the translation in English. So for marine biotech, you have to keep in mind that it's a subsector of biotech, so it represents less than 2% of the whole biotech market. So you see that in the market size that is 4.5 billion. So earlier we talked about more than 400 billions, and now only for marine biotech we are around 4. So it's only 2% of the market. And it's also expected market since 226 is to $7.3 billion. So it's also growing. So it's an emerging sector, but also a good and growing sector. So the compound annual growth rate is expected as 7.15%. So I think this is for the number, so it will be easier for me. In the next figure, you see it's a wrap of the marine biotech. So we remember that marine biotech come from many sources of marine materials. So you have example at the top of the figure. And those materials or marine biomass are used in various market applications, as you know, aquaculture, nutraceuticals, nutrition, cosmetics, biomaterial, and many others. If I can give you some examples. Oops, sorry. This is an overview of the marine biotech sector in Quebec. It's an extract from our website. So you can see that in Quebec, it's 27 SMEs and really small companies that are part or the big core of the marine biotech sector. It represents more than 700 jobs, and it's mostly active in 6 fields of application, which are first of all nutrition and nutraceuticals, but also we have SMEs and businesses in agriculture, biomedical, cosmetics, and pharma. You can see also at the right, bottom right, the marine biomass sources that are used in Quebec sector. So it's mostly algae with 48%, and also crustaceans as shrimps, crab, and lobster that are used in our, mostly in our sectors. Here, I just want to show you that figure that I think it's really interesting and that synthesizes what is the value chain of blue type biotechnology. So you can see up activities, which are going from research and bioprospection, from R&D and products development, and also that it's industrial scale production and marketing and sales. So from research to commercialization, sorry, with my, I will take a little bit more. And just at the bottom of this graph, you can see the key players that it is the whole value chain and the all stakeholders that compose the blue biotechnology value chain. We need all those organizations to do a great work and to go further and to reach our vision for the Canadian blue biotech. So we need academics and applied research centers working with the all socioeconomics players and networks and clusters to help startups and SMEs and also large companies to work together and go through the all activities from the research to the market. So what can Canada accomplish in the next 10 years? I think we have to remember that all the segments of the market should be growing in the next years. So the market is really is growing. We need to reach the market and to reach the customers, but we have to know that mature segment as cosmetics and nutrition, and also health, and also emerging sectors as energy and industrials. They are all growing sectors, so that's not the issue. What we have to work with or work against or work to go through is the challenges. So what are the marine biotech challenges? I have 8 of those, and that's what will launch, I think, the discussions for this afternoon. So the challenges are the marine biomass. So there is a biodiversity, there is a lot of potential, but there is also a challenge to discover this and to preserve that. And we have also to ensure the supply stability, so the availability, the access, but also to keep it and to preserve that biomass. So, and in some case, we have to develop some production method to those new biomass we could discover. There is also challenge for with the proof of concept that we need accelerating tools and financing tools. We need to control the production cost that can be very high, and we have to enhance the commercialization, and it's big issue to go from research to the market, and with even with a lot of money issues in that operation. Also marine biotech market. So as I said, it's an emerging sector. So there is a lot of potential, and the biotech market is a big market with a growing sector. But we have one of our challenge in the marine biotech market is to increase the development of the market, as well as ensure the sustainability of the resources. So, so that's a big issue. And to do that, we have to enhance collaboration in the whole value chain. So people have to work together to reach that goal, to really increase the development of the sector, but also to protect the resources, and while targeting the maximal value of that biomass. So the ultimate goal is the no waste goal. Also, the challenge with the long-term vision, I think we have to put in place a long-term vision. So this long-term allowed us to foster the project development support. So to better support project development, but also project realization. And at the end of this, to have some knowledge acquisition, production, and development. So we need to have that long-term vision to, and those both elements of this long-term vision, so the project and the knowledge, we have to push those two things together. Last slide on challenges. So it's also challenges with regulation. So the cost of test qualifications, claims, so the needs of proof, harness, quality to reach the customer acceptance. So it's a lot of steps, it's a lot of energy, and we have to consider it from the beginning of the project development since the market. So regulation is a big challenges of the development of this sector. So we have to keep it in mind. Also workforce and expertise. So it's a cutting edge sector. So we need to train and to ensure access to qualified staff, and to keep the skill development. So it's really high quality staff needed for that sector. So it's important to put energy in that challenge. And also we have the goal of putting in place and maintain an integrated value chain. It's a big value chain from the fishermen to the R&D, the SMEs, and at the end, the consumer. So it's a really big chain. So coordination of that value chain is also an issue. It's a great challenge to facilitate and to dynamize and create synergies in that value chain, but those synergies are really necessary to accelerate the development of the sectors. And finally, we have government policies. So it's pretty important to have the government implication and interest in the sector. And when we have this, we can ensure really better, and we can go really further in the cluster development and the cluster success. So when we have official strategies and official programs and funding from the government, so it really supports the sectors. So those are the 8 challenges for the marine biotechnologies development. And at the end, the way to address those challenges, I think it's what we are doing today. It's to create synergies, to work together, to push collaboration, and to ensure that those collaboration can be, I don't know the word in English, but can be there for long-term vision and a long-term work. So we have to really put in place those structures that allowed us to talk together and to go and reach that vision of what we can do for the next 10 years. And I think that we will just put in place the foundation of that vision today in talking together and working together about what we can do with that sector. So it's the end for me, and as we will, I hope, share the presentation with the audience today, I put a slide for to thank the Marine Biotech Research Centers, as I said, that helped me a lot to give you those information today to help to our discussions. So thank you, everybody. I hope it will be a good beginning for our discussions today.
Well, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We do have a few minutes if anyone has any burning questions before we head into the breakout room. So if you do have a question, you can use your little Zoom hand, or you can use your physical hand and raise that, and we'll keep an eye out for that. Or you can put a question in the chat box as well, if you'd like. So I'm just gonna make you guys, I can see all your shining faces looking for questions. Everyone's still processing.
Well, I'll jump in. It's Rory here. Noemie, thank you. That's a great presentation. I think it sets us up well. One of the things that maybe will come up in further conversations that you didn't mention specifically, although I know it was in there in terms of sustainability and so on, but in a number of areas of application of marine biotech, and folks like Russ, Karen, and Fabrice can speak to this more directly, but the opportunity to replace petroleum-based chemistry with functional chemistry that is sustainable and non-petroleum based in a whole variety of applications, from personal care products through to drugs. I think just in terms of climate change and how we can, I'll use the political term, I guess, position marine biotech in the very many ways it can be important to societal outcomes. In terms of climate change, there's a real opportunity to use our knowledge and the functional chemistry in the oceans to address that particular challenge. So I think we need to keep that one in mind as well on our list of why marine biotech. I think it could be very, it's certainly the technology, the capability is there. It's still pretty small in terms of our kind of regional capacity in those areas. It's an area of opportunity that we probably need to develop further.
Yeah, I might add to that if I can. This is Russ Kerr here. So I work for Knowles Biosciences, which is part of a big multinational called Croda. And what I hear within Croda and their multinational partners is that, there's, as Rory says, there's a huge interest in replacing petrochemical derived bioactives, whatever the bioactive might be, replacing those with natural derived molecules. Even the same chemical, but to have it derived from nature is seen as being sustainable, green, and all the benefits that we associate with natural products. So natural products or naturally derived bioactives is the move to it is enormous in all of the multinationals that CRODA interacts with, and that's a large number. And just to push for marine, we know that natural products come from terrestrial and marine organisms, but the biodiversity in the marine habitats is far superior, or is a magnitude greater than that in the terrestrial world. So the marine environments really should be the solution to many of our chemical needs as time progresses. So I just want to underscore what Rory was saying there about the replacement of petrochemical feedstocks to natural and mostly marine feedstocks. Thanks.
One thing that I would add to that, Russ, is that a lot of the potential microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, etc., that do occur in the oceans are a threat at this point in time, especially in the Arctic, due to climate change. And before we lose all of these potential new sources of value-added products, we need to actually address that issue and actually start a marine biotech or marine bank that preserves and collects the many organisms that exist in the Arctic that are unique to Canada, so that we do have them as potential sources for value-added products.
Yeah, very, very important point. That's one of the big challenges I think perhaps we can discuss as we go forward today.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you guys off now. I just want to thank Noemie again for that wonderful vision to set us off. But we are going to do some Zoom magic right